So the entire globe has been in utter shock at this sudden passing away of Russia's opposition leader and longtime dissident Alexei Navalny. A statement which simply read that Navalny passed away while he was on a morning walk in a North Arctic prison. Let's try and assess the impact of this domestically in Russia, whether this is going to have any kind of impact on Russian domestic politics as Putin gears up for yet another domestic election. Also, whether all the international condemnation, whether it's in Washington or in London or other European capitals, will necessarily translate into more support for Ukraine as this war now enters the third year later this week. Joining me now is CNN's Clare Sebastian. She's been reporting on this story live from London. Thank you very much, Clare, for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. Let me start off by asking you, first things first, do we have any more details that's been revealed by the Russian authorities as to what caused Navalny's death? Has his body now been handed over to his wife, to his mother? The bare details that we had on Friday was that he died while he was on a morning walk. Is there any more information that's forthcoming from the Russian authorities?
Yeah, there's not a lot of information out there. We know that his mother and his lawyer traveled to the remote region of Yamal-Nenets in Russia's far north on Saturday to try to take custody of his body. They have yet to do that. We're told by Navalny's spokesperson, Kira Yarmysh, this morning that they arrived early in the morning at the morgue. We believe this is the second time they visited the morgue in the regional administrative center in that region, and we're told nothing. The lawyer was apparently pushed out of the way. They were told by the investigative committee in that region that an investigation is still ongoing and they don't know when it will be finished. That investigative committee has previously said that his body won't be released until it's finished. So not a lot of answers there. The Navalny team is accusing the Russian authorities of hiding the body. We've just had a video statement, a long video statement out from Navalny's wife, Yulia Navalnaya, in which she essentially accuses Russia of trying to hide, as she says, traces of its Novichoks, a reference to the nerve agent that an investigation revealed had poisoned Navalny back in 2020. So that is what they are saying, but no evidence, no results of any of the investigations. The Kremlin also saying today that an investigation is underway, they say, according to Russian law, but no results as of yet. So a lot of questions still swirling around this.
Clare, if you could also throw some light into the international condemnation that we've seen since this news broke on Friday. There have been very strong words in Washington, in London, and also in Munich at the security conference that happened over the weekend. World leaders were perplexed by what had happened and they were incensed by what had happened. If you could just take our viewers through the kind of reactions that this news has elicited in global capitals around the world.
Look, I mean, a lot of condemnation, accusations directed at the Kremlin, accusing them of being behind this. So the rhetoric has been very strong from global leaders, but no action as of yet. We haven't seen any country, decide to put more sanctions on Russia over this. We haven't seen any major new aid packages for Ukraine, and many are saying now that that would be the best way to try to take on Putin's Russia that many believe was behind Navalny's death in this prison, they having jailed him in the first place. But obviously US aid is still stalled in Congress. Congress is on a 2-week recess. There's no suggestion even that they will put legislation to a vote to provide new funding for Ukraine when they get back. So a lot of talk about accountability. Yulia Navalnaya, Navalny's wife, is taking part in a European Council meeting today. So she is out there trying to continue to try to pick up the baton, pick up where he left off. But so far, no concrete action in the wake of this.
All right. And Clare, one final question. This has also come coincidentally at a time when Russia seems to be making further gains in the eastern part of Ukraine. A critical town apparently fell from Ukrainian control, and Russia has taken control of that over the weekend. If you could tell us if this could spur action in Western capitals, particularly in Washington, where you said this defense bill has been pending. Republicans are refusing to put that to vote in the House of Representatives. Even in Europe, we're seeing stuttering action when it comes to further aid to Ukraine. Whether Navalny's death would sort of galvanize more Western action to try and help Ukraine defend itself.
Yeah, look, I think certainly that's the hope. President Biden has said explicitly that he hopes that the death of Navalny could spur action from Congress. He has explicitly blamed congressional inaction for the fall of that small town in eastern Ukraine, Avdiivka. In Europe, look, they have approved recently a new €50 billion aid package. There is, though, research shows a gap between what Europe is committing to Ukraine and what is actually physically able to send to Ukraine. So there are logistical issues at play here. I think in the US, it's hard to imagine that politics isn't going to continue to get in the way. As I said, House Speaker Mike Johnson has not yet committed even to putting legislation that was passed by the Senate to the House floor. So that is going to continue to be stalled. And meanwhile, Russia is emboldened by this. They see what's happening. They've taken Avdiivka. They are now attacking in other areas along this 1,000-kilometer front line up north in the Kharkiv region, down south in western Zaporizhia, where Ukraine had really concentrated its failed counteroffensive last year. So it is taking this opportunity, and Ukraine is on the back foot not only when it comes to weaponry, but also in terms of air superiority and in terms of manpower. So this is certainly a fragile, a precarious moment for Ukraine.
And clearly later this week, the war will finish 2 years. And at least at this point in time, it looks like Russia seems to have the advantage in this war that's been going on for far too long, some would say. We leave it at that. Clare Sebastian, many thanks for joining us live from London, CNN correspondent there, with her thoughts and perspective into this shocking news that came out Friday of the death of Alexei Navalny, one of the longtime dissidents and opposition leaders in Russia. He died in a North Arctic prison.